Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Donnie's Gamer Space, and we have for you today another Destiny gameplay video. And today we want to talk about something that's a pretty controversial topic among the gaming, the Destiny community, and really it's going to be the state of the Crucible. And whether you are a casual player, hardcore player, only PvP, only PvE, everyone has an opinion on this particular situation. So, as you know, even it has been some time since Season of Arrivals has blessed us with the newest version of Bungie's matchmaking, and essentially going back to before Shadowkeep, we had a solely network-based with limited skill-based matchmaking. When Shadowkeep launched, they adjusted matchmaking to heavily favor skill-based. So what they did is this was already a hot topic, and basically what it was is that obviously you in a quick play environment, if you were only playing people that were your level of competition, obviously this only favored people who were in the lower the lower 50%, so to speak, because if you're in the lower 50%, that means that more than 50% of the player base is better than you. So if you are in the upper 50%, that means that more than 50% of the people in the game are worse than you. So that this matchmaking style, is extremely beneficial to the upper. The lower 50%, because you're only matching people who are your skill level. So what this means for the people who are in the upper tier is that they're because of their quality of play, they were being essentially punished, because the player base in the upper tiers of matchmaking were, one, either extremely sweaty, or two, much smaller, because you're only playing people who are your skill level. So if the top 10 to 20% are in the skill bracket, and then you have the bottom 40 or 50% in a separate skill bracket, that means that the amount of people able to be match made to you is significantly smaller, which means games were taking longer to get in. It was causing them. It was causing people to go on the Destiny matchmaking app and find 5 other people to matchmake, and so the competition was leveled. They required a high kill death ratio. So basically, you had the higher echelon of players having to face 6 stacks, having to face all people who were their skill level, and therefore was causing the gameplay to be less enjoyable for them. And let me reiterate, when I discuss this topic, nobody should be punished for being good at a game. That's very clear to me. Say when we have this discussion, nobody should be punished for being good at a game that's been out for essentially 6 years. I mean, it started obviously with Destiny 1. Destiny 2 is a little different, but essentially the gunplay is essentially the same, and a lot of the maps are a lot of the same. So it's easy to be good at Destiny PvP if you've been playing it since launch. So there's there's a it's an age-old saying, it's practice makes perfect, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. You play this game a lot, you become good at it, you should not be punished for that. And So, what's the solution? So let's get back to the problem at hand first. Is that we had no skill-based matchmaking before Shadowkeep, or it was limited. It's never a skill-based matchmaking that I could see. I played very minimal. I did back in June of before Shadowkeep is when I started. So I had a very minimal amount of time in Crucible, but my experience was never bad. And that was before they added skill-based matchmaking with Shadowkeep. So the situation is that my game, my gameplay experience was never terrible. It wasn't mercy after mercy. It wasn't a situation where I felt like I was ever extremely outmatched. Like the player, the skill level of the people in the game were just well over mine. So what changed? So Shadowkeep came, and it added skill-based matchmaking to the majority of game modes. But what did this mean? Well, this meant that obviously, if the game assigns you a skill value based on win percentage, based on kill death ratio. There's a lot of factors, but based on and how many hours played. These are all these factors into the game determine where you fall in the skill bracket. This favored, like I said, people in the bottom half, even some more than that, bottom 60%, bottom 70% even maybe. So this benefited these people because it meant that they were not having to be matched against people that were above their skill level. Now, alternatively, it punished the people that were in that top 30%. Again, referencing back to what I was discussed before, matchmaking times were much longer. So they would be match made. They would wait in queue. The queue would take 5-10 minutes for them to load into a match. The match they were getting into would potentially mercy due to 6 stacks, and then they would be back into the 10 to 15 minute matchmaking. So what does that mean? So basically, as a casual player, as a minimal time investment player, you have to look at it from both point of views. You say, okay, well, I don't enjoy the game mode more for X reason. Well, they don't enjoy the game mode for X for this reason. You have to take that into account. So matchmaking times were longer for those people. The matches themselves, the quality of the matches were not as good because they were being matched up against these larger skill players. So it was always sweat. There were always sweat fests. You couldn't get into a match that was of your that you could relax in. And when it comes to quick play, that's what quick play should be. Quick play should just be a match you can relax in. You don't have to, to have a good enjoyment filled game. You shouldn't have to sweat your junk off to just enjoy Crucible. And that's the way it was before Shadowkeep. Well, when you added Shadowkeep's skill-based matchmaking, they made matches more favorable to people like me, who was a more casual player, and punished people who were more experienced and had a higher kill-death ratio. Now, a lot of people complained. Obviously, the most vocal people are going to be the people who are having the least amount of fun, and especially in the sense of the people who are the top 10%, 20%. These are your streamers. These are your people who attract people to the game, that show, how fun the game can be. And what that means is that these are going to be your most vocal people. Like they're the ones that are promoting your game. free promotion by playing your game and attracting people to it. So you look at the solutions. You look at what are the options. So before we had no skill-based matchmaking or limited skill-based matchmaking, and more people were happy with the experience. Because again, as a casual player, before they changed it, I did not have that many issues. I never felt extremely outplay. In a situation where there was that I wasn't in a match. Like, even if it was just capping points, I never felt like I was just being slaughtered to such an extent. But when the Season of Arrivals came out, you had this extreme jerk. There wasn't a gradual change. It was a straight up smack you in the face. No more skill-based matchmaking in quick play, only connection-based matchmaking. So it went back to what it was before Shadowkeep, which again, I had a fine experience in before Shadowkeep. So I go in expecting that we're going to have something similar to that. Well, that is not the case, and it hasn't been the case aside from Iron Banner. In any connection-based matchmaking, I have had terrible experiences to the point that I will not play connection-based matchmaking skill modes if I can relatively avoid it. So, and here's why. There's a couple factors, and why I believe that we have the problem we have with the Crucible that we do have. And so situation is like this. You have all these people who are creatures of habit. They all have experienced 9 months worth of skill-based matchmaking. And with skill-based matchmaking, they, like I said, they were forced into this extremely sweaty position because the top 10% were only matching themselves. So they were stacking groups, and they came into this habit that stacking groups is the way you can farm kills. Well, this mentality has not deviated now that there is no skill-based matchmaking. So what happens is that you're having these 6-stack, 4-stack, 5-stack matches of high-skilled players, and they're dominating, and they're causing a higher level of mercies than I have seen in any factor when it comes to quick play. But even back when I played Destiny 1, there was never this amount of mercy that I've seen since I've started playing, since Season of Arrivals. And it's reflected in Iron Banner too. The mercies are more prevalent when the only thing in the game that protects a casual player is circumvented. And what I mean by that is the only thing that protects a player, any player in this game in PvP, is lobby balancing. Lobby balancing is the only thing we have in the game right now that protects a new player or protects a high skilled player. Like there's these things individually. The skill based matchmaking, the skill based matchmaking gone. The only thing that we are protected by as an individual, as a solo player, is lobby balancing. If you get a group of 4 or more, you are essentially bypassing, you are circumventing the only thing in the game that protects a solo player. And this is what brings me to the point of this video, is that there are a few things that are causing the extreme issues that we have in the Crucible. And that's what I'm going to come to now. First thing, as a casual player, the one of the most terrible things that I can see when I get loaded into a Crucible match is a stack of 4 or more. And not only are we talking about people in the same clan, no, we're talking about people who are matching, who are going on the Destiny app, finding people and searching for 2.1 KD, 3 KD. You have to have these KDs to match with this particular group of people. So this is the first thing that I think is the problem with Crucible. And the level of people grouping together and matching and not allowing for lobby balancing is what is one of the things that is an extreme detriment to casual solo players. And at the end of this, I'll discuss what I think we can do to fix them. The second thing is that there is nothing to chase. And what brings me to that conclusion is how extreme Iron Banner, how extremely friendly Iron Banner is for casual players. Because I have played Iron Banner, and I have had great kill games. I've led it with 22. I've led it with 19. I've led it with 28. There's Iron Banner because there's something to grind for. You have your Fool's Remedy, the brand new weapons. You have your Forward Path, brand new weapons. You have all these weapons that are being sunset, so they re-release them as Season of Arrival weapons. So now you're grinding a new Swarm of the Raven. There's reasons to enhance mods. There's reasons to go in to this game mode, even if you don't enjoy PvP. There's a reason to go in there. So what happens? You're able to expand the pool of players because there's something to grind for. Expand the pool of players, waters down the tryhards, and therefore you get better matchmaking and also lobby balancing. Obviously, if you going back to my first point, if you stack, that's where you're going to see the higher level, the higher stacks. That's where you're seeing the mercies come in. You're seeing a lot more mercies because people are stacking for tokens. Again, that's how these are changes that you can make that will benefit the overall product for people and making it more enticing to come in. So if you were to add back weapons that are isolated to Crucible, because there were no ritual weapons in Season of Arrivals. No ritual weapons, no pinnacle weapons. All the pinnacle weapons are going away, so you don't have like what is the point in grinding for them if they're being sunset? You had to give some type of incentive to want to play the game mode. And that's where Iron Banner was that's where Iron Banner excelled, where normal quick play does not. With that said, how the level of entry into a game mode is what's going to entice people to play that game mode. The higher the level of entry, the less likely people are going to enter it. So adjust those two factors. Make it more approachable by possibly limiting party size. Maybe only limit the party size to 3. Every game mode other than raids, which are pinnacle activities, and Reckoning and Gambit, the group size caps at 3. Why is Crucible different? Quick play maybe have Iron Banner allow for 6. It's a pinnacle activity, but in quick play, 6 stacking and quick play is extremely toxic to a new player because it's extremely demoralizing. Having to go into a match and see that you're about to face 6 people that are all being able to communicate like normal, and knowing after match after match after match that all that matchmaking that you all that time you spend in matchmaking, it's circumventing the only thing that protects us as individual players is an extreme problem, and it goes back to that it's not anyone's fault except for that's the way that the top 10% or so adapted. They adapted that way so they can actually enjoy PvP again when they were when the cards were stacked against them. It's not their fault, but it falls on them to break that mentality, because otherwise your Crucible experience is going to end up exactly the same way, because the only people that are going to want to be playing the game mode are the people who are going to play the game mode regardless. So if you have an atmosphere that's extremely sweaty, you're only going to cut out the people who are the casuals, and then you're going to be stuck back in the situation you were to begin with, and where there was skill-based matchmaking. And then what's the point? What was the point of the change to begin at all? There wasn't. So things need to be put into place to protect the lower 40-50% of players, not necessarily because there's nothing to grind for anyway. So if there was something to grind for, there'd be a differing factor there. But there's nothing to grind for in this capacity, so having some type of protection for newer players is a good thing. And if you have that protection, lobby balancing, it's there. It's in the game. The people who have adapted, who are trying to actively stack kills, that's what's causing the only protection the game has to not work. And that's one of the biggest problems. And I'll circle back to it, and I'll circle back to it, and I'll circle back to it. But the biggest problem is the group sizes. Because if you are going to say that we are going to have specifically connection-based matchmaking, then you have to let the game do what it's going to do. It's got to be able to say, okay, we got the 12 best, we got 12 players here of all different categories and sizes. So the number 1 goes on left, number 2 goes on right, number 3 goes on left, number 4 goes on right. There has to be that. Otherwise, the game modes, you're essentially ruining the experience of 6 people, maybe more, if you don't have that. And it's the same situation that Trials has right now. Is that you go into Trials, and because there's no matchmaking, it's all connection based. Who you face could be, one day could be the best player in the world, and the next match could be the worst player in the world. And that's okay due to the mentality of the game mode. But when you have the sweatiest people in the game, if you're not going to create an atmosphere that has the best stuff in it to get, you are not going to attract the casual player. And what happens if you can't attract the casual player? The game mode dies, because and that's what you can see right now. There are people who made livings off of I wouldn't say that, but yeah, made livings off trials in D1 who won't touch trials in D2 for a number of reasons, whether it be the cheating on PC, whether it be the DDoSing on PlayStation. Like, there's a number of reasons. But when it comes down to it, you have to make it approachable to newer players. If you had a card-based matchmaking all the way across, where somebody who has one loss will only face somebody who has one loss, now again, that would slow down matchmaking, but at least that would allow people who are trying to get the 3-win reward, who have not been able to get 3 wins since Trials has existed. Well, it would allow them to actually face somebody who's closer to their skill level, to allow them to get that reward. No one's asking to let them get trials to flawless, even though you can buy a flawless card for $60. Like, if you wanted that, no one's asking for the free ability. All the casual player wants is to have an approachable access to the game mode. And that's it. Like, nobody's asking to go flawless. The change that they made to the bounty, it's almost just as bad, because like you get into the game mode, and the way the bounty works is it's 10%. It's 2% per round completed. So if you never win a round, you have to complete 10 matches. So that is 10 matches to get a roll on a weapon that you have no control over. That's really, such as the summoner, is not any better than what's already accessible by just running the contact event and getting a Gnawing of Hunger. It's a 600 RPM weapon. It's void instead of solar. I mean, I personally like the summoner. I like solar weapons, but the thing is that if the idea is I have to spend 2 hours in trials, 2 hours, just losing nonstop, and all I get is a weapon that's not any better than the one I can get for 10 minutes of work, doesn't make sense. So, to recap, all I'm asking is for these changes. These are changes I feel. I'm not necessarily asking. The thing about it is there is a place for me. I like skill-based matchmaking. I'll play comp. I say I've stayed out of quick play almost exclusively because I just don't enjoy the game mode anymore, because of and mainly it goes back to those two things, is that there's nothing to grind for. See, in comp, there's still something to grind for me. Even though it's being sunset, there's still something to grind for me. I was like, but in quick play, there's nothing. There's nothing. At the end of a quick play match, I'm going to get 3 blues and immediately dismantle them, and I don't care. I'll do my pinnacle can be done in comp. So there's no incentive for me to touch network-based matchmaking. In fact, it actually is more suitable for me, because in a more due to the fact that Bungie doesn't have dedicated servers, in a more controllable environment of 6 people, the connections are better anyway. So there's the arguments they're making for connection-based matchmaking are only arguments for the people who are being most affected by the skill-based matchmaking, and that's okay, because again, going back to what I said before, nobody should be punished for being good at a video game. If you don't like, if there's something that's not appealing to you because of how good you are, then you have every right to try and get it changed. Absolutely. And so in the same turn, we all the lower tier players should also not be punished for playing a video game. And so my solutions, going back to that limit, aside from Iron Banner, limit matchmaking to a stack of 3. Iron Banner is a pinnacle activity. Raids are a pinnacle activity. They should be your only 6-person. Your only 6-person experiences. That fixes a lot of problems. You're still going to have your Mercies and Iron Banner, but Mercies and Iron Banner don't feel as bad as Quick Play because Iron Banner is a pinnacle activity. But in Quick Play, if you have that, you feel bad because it's Quick Play. So remove it. 3 people, fire team max in PvP. If you want to play a private game, go play a private game. Like there is that does not punish anybody. If you have 6 friends that you want to, five friends that you want to play with, well, each of you stack up 3 and hope you guys get matched together in the same lobby. But more than likely you're going to be matched against each other. And that's lobby balancing. That's the protection that everybody gets. And if you actively circumvent it, you have to deal with the consequences. And if that means a lower player pool because people don't want to touch the activity because of how sweaty it is, that's the consequences of the actions. So the second thing that you need to do to fix the Crucible, give it something to grind for. Pinnacles are not the grind, are nothing right now. It's like I could literally finish a Pit of Heresy faster than doing my 4 quick play matches. Give it something to grind for. Give it a pinnacle weapon, a ritual weapon, or just a weapon you can only get a roll in Crucible. Like, there needs to be Crucible weapons individually. If you want to incentivize people to play it, and the talk and the communication that they've made in the future is that they're not going to do that. It's only going to be a skin that you can achieve, a pinnacle skin. People aren't going to play for the skin. It's only going to exacerbate the current problems we have right now because there's still nothing to grind for. So when it comes down to it, there's an experience for everybody in this game. Whether it be PvE, PvP, there's an experience for you. Gambit. If you don't like quick play, play survival. Play elimination. These still have skill-based matchmaking. These are the matchmakings that are gonna allow you to get better at the game and play the game at a higher level, which will then allow you to play quick play if you choose to. But in my eyes, quick play being the sweatiest of the lobbies for lower tier players is really the opposite of what you should be looking at having. So I have a lot of opinions on this. I feel like I've discussed it all. Please put in the comment section what you think Bungie can do to fix this problem. I mean, it's definitely a problem, and I think that, you know, as you progress, especially for the next 3 months while we're waiting for the new DLC to drop, you're going to see the player base dwindle significantly because people aren't going to want to play especially in Crucible, but you know, the player base in general is going to diminish because there's just not going to be the content to do. So, like I said, leave a comment. Tell me what you think of the video. Tell me what you think of of the sunsetting and the state of the Crucible, all that stuff. I want to know what you have to think, what you think about it. You know, have you been affected? Have you seen that the Crucible has been, you know, too sweaty? Have you seen that you know, that the activity is just not fun anymore? Just because you get killed, just because you're not getting kills, doesn't necessarily reflect in how much fun you're having. Like there was a night the other night, I wasn't necessarily getting a ton of kills, but I was still enjoying my butt off. So, you know, it's all about how you are enjoying the game, not necessarily how many kills you're getting. So that's what's important. It's like if all you enjoy is kills, is that affecting how you enjoy the game mode? If all you care about is playing with your friends, how would limiting the party down to 3 instead of 6 affect your game experience? I really want to know what you think. I'd say this is a very polarizing topic. A lot of people have been affected, and just they stay out of the game mode now, and it's unfortunate. You know, I mean, is it like there's a lot that goes, that goes into it. I mean, I enjoy a challenge. In the same turn, I mean, it's clear when you're completely outmatched. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Like if you like the video. Go follow me on at Adani's Gamerspace on Facebook. I live stream at least 3 nights a week. I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. And this has been Adani, and I am signing out. Y'all have an amazing week. Thanks.